All right, well, let's get started. So my name is Tim Kratek. I am the CEO at Ironside. I have been in the Cognos world for almost 30 years. I've been an architect, an administrator, a report writer, involved in sales and licensing and all kinds of other fun stuff. So really excited to kind of talk to you guys today about sort of where Cognos is, where it's headed, and how Ironside can share some of our knowledge and experience with you. With that, I'll give Matt an opportunity to introduce himself.
Afternoon, my name is Matthew Linehan. I'm a senior application consultant. I've been with Ironside since 2023. And prior to that, I have now about 13 years of experience with Cognos administration and report development. Kind of been a jack of all trades for multiple companies during that time. And now I'm helping out a whole bunch of companies at once here at Ironside through managed services. So looking forward to talking about all that with you guys here coming up this half hour.
Thanks, Matt. So before we jump into the content, I will give you just a quick overview of Ironside, our business, and sort of how that's relevant. Ironside was a business I founded in 1999. So it's been almost 20 years that we've been, 25 years or so in the Cognos and IBM's ecosystems. We've spent a lot of energy and time in the AWS ecosystem over the last couple as well. I believe factually we've been involved in Cognos implementations at over 900 customers. We have a number of service offerings that go more broad than just Cognos around data strategy, specifically business intelligence, data science and AI, data engineering, and here we're to talk about managed services. From our standpoint, we've engaged in a variety of different ways with our customers and are really excited to share some of those service offerings with you today.
Okay. So why Cognos Modernization and managed services here with us? So there's kind of two elements here. We have Cognos Modernization, which is one to continue to take advantage of what Cognos reporting has to offer. Despite all the new competitors in the marketplace, there's still some things that Cognos really does better than anybody else, especially formatted reports through PDFs, sending out to a whole bunch of users at once, things of that nature. So we can help you get onto the latest version of Cognos, make sure you stay with support and updates from IBM. We can help you rationalize your content and organize it to run more efficiently and be easier to manage. And we can also make sure that you get to the best implementation of that Cognos environment, whether that be an on-premises installation with your own servers, in a cloud capacity, such as with AWS. We have some clients, for instance, that run on AWS EC2, hosting their Cognos servers that way, as well as with IBM's SaaS solution, SaaS being software as a service, where IBM directly hosts the servers for your Cognos implementation, and we can help get you onto that environment as well as after you're there, then managing your content, your security reports, etc. So there's the modernization piece. Now, the managed services piece is once we achieve modernization of your Cognos installation, we can then help you manage that going forward. We can make sure you stay on supported versions of Cognos. For instance, Cognos version 11.17 went out of support earlier this year, and Cognos 11.24, or actually 11.2 generally, is going out of support in April of 2026 as things currently stand. So there's definitely a need to upgrade to version 12.0 or to 12.1 of the Cognos product that's out today. We can also help you optimize your infrastructure performance and help control your operating costs. We can do content rationalization to make sure that your content is organized efficiently and that you have as few objects to manage as you need. And we also do annual upgrades, health checks, and we'll monitor your licenses to make sure you're staying within your provision licenses from IBM. And we're also very good at helping out folks who have staffing and administrative shortfalls. We can kind of help not only come in directly to replace, say, if an asset should retire or move on, come in to take over for them, but also help as a to help improve the staff that you currently have. For instance, if a senior resource leaves and all you have left are junior resources, we can step in and help train them up. And so we're not just a do-for-you group. We also will help teach folks and do mentoring, both for report writing as well as administration. So why pick us for modernization and managed services? As Tim was saying, Ironside has been around for the last 25 years, done hundreds of successful Cognos migrations and upgrades. And we're also getting into the cloud space with hyperscaling, again, knowing how to get you from an on-premises installation into the cloud. We also can help you determine what the best next steps are for your organization when it comes to either upgrading existing hardware, replatforming to the cloud, or even repurchasing, retaining, or retiring Cognos. We also have what's called Ironside Analytic Services. This is a service which allows clients who are currently off of service and support from IBM to get back onto that program with them, potentially for no penalties. Which, if you're going back to IBM directly, is definitely something you would want to minimize. And then as we're going forward, we can always make sure your licensing is validated and staying in compliance with your entitlements. And we kind of scale everything to the size that the client needs. We support companies from multi-billion-dollar corporations down to like individual Cognos server installs. So we have experience here kind of across the gamut and across all sorts of industries. We have clients who are insurers, we have financial services, manufacturing, retail, logistics. So we have a broad base of experience which is going to allow us to support basically any of your needs at any size of implementation. So I'll briefly summarize our approach we have to modernization and management. We break these down into three basic stages, that being analyze, improve, and manage. During the analysis stage, when we kind of first onboard with customers, we'll kind of gather what your metrics are for success. Where do you want to go with your Cognos environment? What are your goals? Are you in a maintenance mode where you're looking to just keep things running smoothly for the foreseeable future? Are you oriented towards attempting to migrate to the cloud to take advantage of solutions like AWS? Things like that. And we'll gather that information through structured interviews with all the stakeholders using your Cognos environment. We'll create an application inventory, kind of assess the technical and functional challenges which are involved in getting you to your final state, and then we'll make a plan to approach and deal with those. During the improve stage, we can use things like our content rationalization and cleanup to make sure your environment is slimmed down and running as efficiently as it can. Make sure your licenses are cleaned up and get those under control. For example, it is possible, as Cognos has been upgrading over time, that the way licenses are provisioned can change such that you may have more admin licenses than you are expecting to have. And we can help clean those up and make sure that you are down to the proper number for your entitlements, so you don't have any penalties from IBM, for example. And also during that improved stage, we'll make sure you're upgraded to a latest supported version of Cognos that works for you, whether that's 11.2.4 in the short term or to one of the later versions of 12. And then in the managed stage, some of these steps do continue. The health checks, content rationalizations, services of that nature that I'll be talking a bit more in detail about as we go on, will continue on sort of a continuing basis when you're in the managed services program, as well as now we'll help with administrative troubleshooting. We have experience also with report writing, both within our managed services team as well as in the company at large, which can help out with reporting issues as well. Go through your failing reports and find ways to triage those and fix them, and try and apply proven practices that we've found for our other clients to help you guys out and make sure that you have the best Cognos environment you can have.
Hey, Matt, if you could just go back to that one.
Yes, sir.
I just want to add, Cognos has evolved over a period of time, and there's a lot of content that was built 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, sometimes even as much as 10 or 15 years ago. The features and functions that exist in the new versions are often more visually appealing and can be delivered more efficiently. So as we think about the improved portion of this, we can also look at taking advantage of capabilities that exist in the newer features of the tools. Additionally, when you think about data architectures and managing the framework models and packages, there's opportunities to upgrade and improve and think differently about that. Obviously, we see lots of evolution of cloud data platforms, and we spend a lot of time with folks helping them move from on-prem databases, data warehouses, data marts, data lakes, to cloud versions of those, and then reconnecting and replumbing your reporting environments to those. So, at the end of the day, we know some of these environments are stable and not evolving, but we also know that the world is changing. The world is moving towards the cloud, and Ironside has significant experience in both assessing and understanding why you made those choices many years ago, and then also how to make them more efficient, less expensive, and easier to manage on a go-forward basis.
So these offerings for managed services kind of break down into about 7, 8 categories here. Keep in mind that almost all of these services can be offered separately. So for things like upgrades and health checks, we do perform these independently on the side, but pretty much all of these are bundled in with managed services. If you get a managed services contract with us, we will be performing health checks, rationalizations as needed, making sure your licenses are always squared away, and providing that expert assistance through flexible development hours. And we always make a point of giving our clients the best advice we can. And it's not just a do for me, but often a how do I do relationship to make sure that your staff is as empowered as possible in helping to manage this Cognos environment. So now I'll go into these each in a bit more detail. So here we have Cognos Expert Managed Services. This is kind of the main service off of which all these others are going to hang. So this is senior Cognos resources available when you need them. And our team always, we're always very responsive to when there are client problems, but it's not just a problem-based service. If you have ideas for improvements to your environment, or you don't know how to do particular things, for example, if you're having trouble getting a report inventory, things like that, or how do I address this error? How do I perform a particular sort of reporting task? Those are things that we can certainly help out with. And one of the things that's so great about our team here at Ironside is that we have a very broad base of experience, both within Cognos and in IT generally. For example, one of our clients was performing an upgrade from Cognos 11 to Cognos 12 that they were attempting to do on their own. And they ran into some kind of serious issues with how active servers are being selected for reporting for the content store. And because Dominic Diadama, one of our managed services employees, had a broad base of experience in IT infrastructure generally, he was able to help identify problems which were not because of any of the Cognos configuration, but were actually due to the internet configuration being used at that company, and help sort that out so that the IP addresses are being properly recognized and the load balancing could occur as was intended. So the fact that we have the deep experience that we do means that we can look at problems holistically, and just the general troubleshooting capabilities of the folks we have here mean that we can get very quick support to you that's going to be able to solve all sorts of problems quickly. And one of the great advantages that you would have with managed services, as opposed to perhaps just sticking with regular IBM service and support, is that as we work with your team, we become familiar with your environment. Whenever you have to call in a large company like IBM, they have to sort of get familiar with your case each time fresh when they come and interact with you. Because we have a regular relationship, we're going to have monthly meetings with your team at the very least, and we're going to have a relationship with you guys through working on tickets. When there are serious problems, not just service requests or questions, we're going to be very well equipped to step in and very rapidly assess the issues that you're having and then resolve them. So I think that in addition to just that aspect, I think that's the biggest value add from the service, in addition to doing sort of the regular services of the licensing assessment, the health checks, the upgrades, is that ability to help your team troubleshoot all sorts of problems within your Cognos environment, both with server administration, reporting, and then the administration of the environment itself. Just that experience is invaluable and is hard to get anywhere else.
Yeah, Matt, I'll just add to that the word I like to use is proactive versus reactive. Thinking about how to avoid issues before they occur versus reacting to them when they do occur. That is one of the main value propositions of this service. And again, to Matt's point, really strong team of folks that you learn, they learn about you. It becomes a relationship where it's much quicker to get into, it's much quicker to resolve issues, and it's good to have relationships of people that versus a kind of the next support engineer, if you would.
And also to be clear, while we talked about, analyze, improve, manage, which is, looks like it's a very deliberative procedure, and under ideal circumstances, it certainly is. We can also be called in at a moment's notice. For instance, we've had some clients that were victims of cyber attacks that we didn't have an active relationship with, and they contacted us, and we were able to help them stand back up their Cognos environment at essentially within 48 hours, I believe. We even we start work as quickly as possible, kind of expediting the process of making sure folks get signed on with us. We really want to do the best we can to help our clients out. And so we provide that level of service to make sure that even if in extremis, we have, folks who are going to help you out and recover very quickly. So that's one of the cool things we were able to do over the last couple of years is really help some clients recover from, very serious situations like that. So that was managed services was kind of the main overarching idea under which these other services are provided. Kind of going forward, all of these can be provided separately or will occur in the context of managed services. So the platform migration services, this is more oriented around looking at how you want to change the platforming of your Cognos environment, whether that be, moving between servers in a on-premises environment, or whether or not it is correct to migrate to, say, a cloud installation or to use IBM software as a service. We've had some experience lately with moving to IBM SaaS, and it's kind of interesting to see how that implementation differs from managing servers directly. And of course, that comes with its own set of different considerations and challenges, as having everything in IBM space does cause administration from the client to be a bit different. So we're familiar with how those things change and how to kind of overcome and anticipate certain of those challenges, especially when it comes to things like file management. If you're running currently reports to network drive locations, for example, if you're moving from an on-premises situation to running those from the cloud, implementation of those things has to change. And so we've had some good experience lately seeing the sort of pain points, or at least the areas where moving to the cloud causes some reconsideration as to how things are implemented. We also have Cognos content rationalization. This is something that we would often perform as we're onboarding a client, but it's also a separate service we can provide. We use a proprietary tool called Ascent IQ, which actually does a complete read and deconstruction of your content store, and that then produces a set of reports that can look into, for example, if you have duplicate report specs. This is something we see very commonly amongst clients, that oftentimes instead of using one report that can be run a whole bunch of different ways, you might say have a sales report for March 2023, and then another sales report for April 2023, and so on and so forth. So they could be a multiplication of objects, and we can help identify those places where it's occurring, and then give advice as to how to consolidate those. We also have a score of your content based off the report complexity. It's also possible through the Ascent IQ process to actually analyze your report specs with regard to compatibility with other tools. So you can also see, if you're ever to consider migration, whether or not certain things can be done by another competitor tool instead of by Cognos, for example. This also will make sure that we call it all of these report specs. So it actually creates a cookbook of all of your reports, so it'd be easy to reconstruct them if, say, there was a loss of data or anything like that.
Hey, Matt, let me just add to this.
Sure.
When we think about rationalization, obviously, if you're doing an upgrade or you're doing a migration, you're going to want to migrate or upgrade the lowest number of objects possible. I think what it does is it just sort of manages your technical debt over time. It allows you to look at, are there multiple copies of the same thing? Or is something not being used, right? So it's really just a comprehensive process to look at your entire estate of Cognos. What is being used? What isn't being used? Are there ways to make it more efficient? And just sort of understand and reduce that technical debt.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been very effective for clients in order to find those duplicate reports or reports they're no longer using. That's the thing I forgot to call out, is it also will find reports that have not been run in a considerable period of time, or in some cases you find reports with no run history at all, and will help clients clean that up. Then there's also, and at a bit more of a high level, is the Cognos Production Health Check. This is something we often do also with onboarding, but can be done. Some of our clients like to have this done on a kind of annual basis to make sure that things are still in line with their requirements. Here we'll do a kind of overall look at the environment. For instance, if you have an on-premises environment, this would examine how many servers you're using, how much power is on those servers, whether or not the servers are being properly utilized for the amount of reports or for the reporting tasks you're performing. I mean, for example, if you're building large dynamic cubes, the performance requirements for those on a server can be considerably different than if you're just running a few dozen reports an hour. And then based upon those findings, we'll give some advice on, for instance, if we find a lot of reports are failing with common errors, we'll provide some advice on how to resolve those, or at least to identify which reports are failing as well. And we'll kind of make sure that you have um, all the information you need to make sure that your environment is optimized for what you're running on it. Another important service we provide, of course, are upgrades, fix packs, and interim patches. This, again, is something we do very commonly on the side, not just for existing managed services customers. So we will approach we'll talk to your team. We'll make sure that we have an idea of which supported version of Cognos you wish to go to, and then coordinate to make sure that we have a smooth transition from old versions to new versions, time for testing, making sure that everything is conforming to requirements. And then we'll implement the necessary plans to get the production environment done, whether that's a night, weekend, whatever needs to be done. We'll make sure that the upgrades go off without a hitch and provide support afterwards as well for any problems that may occur. Then, kind of lastly, we also have a licensing assessment. Again, this is most commonly done as just part of managed services, making sure that you have a license utilization that conforms to your entitlements from IBM. Just a little bit of background here. There's two major kind of paradigms for licensing from IBM. This is a named user basis where you have a number of users who are provisioned at a certain level, whether that be an administrator, consumer, report writer, etc. And then across a series of environments, say, for instance, if I'm given administrator access in just the production environment, I will consume just one admin license, regardless of how many other environments I have access to within your installation. Whereas for processor value units, or PVUs, which we monitor with IBM's IBM License Metric Tool, or ILMT, that is a model which is based off of the actual hardware that you're using to run your Cognos installation, and will assign a price based upon the power of the kind of the theoretical capacity of those servers to run Cognos reports. This is something which is probably best suited to clients who have large numbers of report users or of reports that are distributed very widely, where they can often find some value there for them. And we'll make sure in managing your licenses that you're staying within your entitlements and can help optimize these the best for your actual company's needs. Go
Matt,
ahead.
along those lines, I'll just add in that after many, many years of working with IBM, we found that it is most cost effective to pay attention and be prepared if the IBM audit mechanism comes in and wants to understand what technology you're using. Ironside has deep experience in helping organizations stay in compliance across their entire IBM estate, help them provide the appropriate reports. And as of 2023, IBM actually requires, if you're running CPU-based licenses, that you are running either ILMT or a comparable product like Crayon or Flexera, to ensure that you're staying within the boundaries of your licensing. If you do deploy, say, on a VM server, that you have agreed to the subcapacity licensing. So again, there's some technical nuances of this, and a little bit of prevention, a little bit of attention goes a long way. We don't want our clients to ever have a large compliance bill from IBM's auditor. So paying attention to this is greatly important, whether you help us, whether we help you or not with it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tim. Yes, that's a very key part too of managed services, and making sure that there never are problems with your licensing. And we'll work with you to make sure that issues there are proactively resolved and there never are issues with IBM with any overages or things like that. Okay, so that's kind of our overview here today. So thank you very much for your attention. Do we have any questions? If not, just please reach out to us at getinsights@ironsidegroup.com, and we'll be happy to have a follow-up discussion and make sure we get the best Cognos solutions we can provide for you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and Matt, thank you again for sharing your expertise, and thanks for everyone for spending a little time with us here. Obviously, we understand that everybody's situation is different, and from our standpoint, we help many companies with this management, and it removes a headache and removes risks, and we'd love to talk to you about how we can help you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.